Hi, Ben here from UTF Australia, here to talk about some of the new design features on our 4200 Ultimate series. What we've done here is we've put in a gutter above the 8mm plate that we run as our main adjuster. The reason we've done this is to stop water running down the hopper sheet in behind the feed area. It also stops dirt going in behind there, which we were finding was a little bit of a trouble with some wetter areas. So that's been one of the new design features there. We've also made this one continuous sheet. So originally we had the angle plate that we used to tech screw in down on this base sheet here. And what we wanted to do was alleviate another spot where moisture could get stuck in behind. So we've made this one continuous bend, and we've also put drainage slots in every 150mm, which are the size of a screening hole that you'd usually see on some grain cleaners. So that just allows the water to dissipate quickly when you get a big sideways rain in there. You'll see that the trough height is also higher. So we've done that so that you don't need to add an ad-lib attachment if you want an ad-lib feed. So this can simply be opened wider, let the feed spill into this trough area if you want to have a large ad-lib ration, and that alleviates that need for a higher trough. So our base frame still has all the key design features that we've always based it on, having that strong truss frame that's fully welded and hot dipped, with these big forklift sleeves. So the forklift sleeves pick up a piece of SHS that runs directly down the middle of the feeder as well. So if you have a hay fork that's larger than these forklift sleeves, you can run either side of these as well. But what it does, it allows you to lift the feeder full of grain. We also run this step in the feeder. What we've done, we've increased the height of the feed area to what we used to call our cattle height. We've made that standard for both cattle and sheep. So this step means that we usually work on lambs 10 weeks or younger would usually use that step. Once they were over 10 weeks, they'll generally stand straight on the ground. But we still run that second skid in from the outside of the feeder, so that way if you do get a mining away from the feeder, you've always got one skid that's on solid ground. Another new design feature with the Ultimate Series feeders is our tongue restrictor is included as standard. I wanted to make a storage area for it that was out of the weather and easy to access. So we've come up with this design where we release the latch here and this door drops down, and that way we can simply slide the tongue restrictors out. So just here putting in the new tongue restrictor that I was talking about. So that simply drops in. We've just got two 5mm plates either end of the 8mm adjuster, and simply drops in like this. You can see that we've got two latches here either end. The reason that we've done that is to stop this tongue restrictor from being able to be flicked out, because if it's flicked out it doubles the feed ration, because there's this spacing here is 10mm. So we want to make sure that that stays in. So I'm just going to flick this little latch down. There's just simply a pin that goes through here. And now that tongue restrictor is locked in place that way. I also wanted to talk about the reason that we've made these rectangles the shape we have. So with the tongue restrictor shape, or the rectangle shape, you can see that we've made the rectangle the full depth of the tongue restrictor. The reason that we've done that is the first prototypes we didn't come down the full depth of the restrictor, and feed would get stuck underneath, and it would encourage the restrictor to want to lift away from the base sheet. You can also see that the shape of our base sheet means that this tongue restrictor sits nice and flat against that. So as this main 8mm plate moves in and out and up and down, this tongue restrictor will follow that 8mm plate. So these adjustment dots here will replace the width setting on the side of our feeder, which I'll run through. So you can see that these dots here, we've got series from 1 through to 6, and that will become the width setting for our tongue restrictor. And you can also see we've got this plate here. This is designed so that it will hold the tongue restrictor in place. So what we want to avoid is this tongue restrictor being able to be flicked out by cattle or sheep, because if it does get flicked out, we increase the width setting by 10mm, which is a significant increase, and that would put livestock at risk of acidosis if it was a high protein mix. So this latch folds down. We simply push that back in place, and there's a pin that goes through here to latch that in place. Just as we're taking a close look at this tongue restrictor, you can see the shape is cut out completely at the bottom there. So it allows the feed to fall through at the bottom here. We've also got this double bend here, so it's nice and soft on livestock, but it gives it that extra strength to stop that flex outwards, and also have that double bend at the top there doing the same thing. So we're really trying to alleviate any feed getting caught underneath and the tongue restrictor wanting to lift upwards. So what the tongue restrictor does is it allows us to achieve a lower rate of feed. So what will happen when we're achieving lower rates of feed, when the saliva runs out, some livestock will try to push the feed along and they'll achieve a higher consumption rate by doing that. This rectangle stops them from being able to do that. So this is when we'd put the tongue restrictor in. Design features with the Ultimate Series is this 8mm plate that we use for controlling the grain flow. So this 8mm plate controls both the height and the width. And what it also does is it means that there's no supports along the feed trough area, which most saliva-lick feeders will have to have using lighter gauge steel. That means that there's one less spot for blockages to get caught on, and that usually the blockages will work away from supports. And it's also one less spot for electronic ear tags to get caught on. Turnbuckle design. What we've tried to get away from is having the ratchet design that we used to have. We used to have trouble with the clips sliding or slipping when we were adjusting. So I've gone back to this design where we've got a simple rod that slides through, makes it very easy to turn. Also got grease nipples in here, so this side here spins freely. So I've got a grease nipple to lubricate that side, and I've also got a grease nipple here to lubricate the threaded side as well. And you can see here that we've actually got the calibration markers on the turnbuckle itself, instead of having a slider through to the feeder, which makes it much easier to see where you're at, rather than having to get down and look through the slider. And we've also got this here as a standard feature now as well, which is a cleaning tool. So I've got this bent around, so it comes around the back of the tongue restrictor, which is usually where the blockage starts, when the moisture gets in around the back of it. Keep the turnbuckles out of the weather, we have this simple cover design. Simply push them over the top, and we just have two clips that push in either side. A recent update with the lid hinges and the lid stoppers is these 5mm plates with the coach bolts. This has just been updated so the lid can be pulled back quite quickly and it won't be able to bend these plates at all that way. We've also put a longer handle in as well, which makes the lid nice and easy to pull back. We've also got the same 5mm plates at the front there, so that the lid sits on these 5mm plates rather than resting on the front of the feeder. A couple of design updates on the inside of the feeder here. So we've changed the angle of these internal supports so that the feed runs off them. We've also put bigger diversion plates in the bottom there to divert the feed more towards the middle of or away from the ends of the feeder, so that way it's not close to the edge of the feeder where the holes are for the Ultimate Series adjusters.